Hello again, everyone. Todd Struch, the horror nerd, here at the Scares That Care Charity Weekend number 5 down in Williamsburg, Virginia. I am here with my good friend and star of Friday the 13th, Adrienne King. Adrienne, how are you?
I'm great, now that I'm here.
Yes, it was a little bit arduous, huh?
It took me a full day of travel, but it's so worth it. Everyone's been terrific, and I went wine tasting here today. I loved Williamsburg. It's really beautiful.
It is. It is a beautiful area down here.
It is, yeah. Do you live here?
No, I live in New Jersey.
You do?
I do.
I should have known that.
That's okay. You know a lot of people.
You're a Jersey boy.
I am, through and through, born and raised.
Yeah. So did you drive down here?
Well, listen, so you can hold that.
No.
And no, listen, that would be awesome. No. Yeah, I drove. It's 6 hours. And yeah, by the time I pulled into the parking lot, I could not wait to get out of the car. I will say that.
Yeah, I understand. I started at 3 a.m. in Southern Oregon. Yeah. And had to run for 2 connections. Seriously.
So this is where I stop complaining about my 6-hour drive, where I can stop and get out of the car at the rest stop and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
imagine me running through a tunnel in Detroit, you know?
That's great.
Yeah, at the airport, not in
And I'm like, well, you're running down the street. Did you film it at least?
No time to even pull out my phone.
So, Adrienne, I know you do a lot of fan conventions. You know, I'm fortunate enough I get to see you a lot. What is it about this one in particular that motivated you to travel for 24 hours to get here?
Well, not exactly 24, but it felt like it. Well, Scares That Care. You know, it's a great charity. Joe is fabulous. Doug, you, everybody I know. I see you guys. You work so hard to raise money for causes, and I support you always.
And we do appreciate that. You've been a great ambassador for the horror community at large for all this time.
Well, you guys do great work. You really do. And it's wonderful when you can say to someone, I'm going to Scares That Care. They really, horror gives back.
Yes.
You know, it's a genre where I always feel it's about family. And people outside of the genre don't get it. They don't understand it. But we're just a very close-knit group of people that happen to like scary movies and come together, and you guys come together for a really great reason, you know. And, we all love it, and it's a lot of fun, these conventions, but this is about actually helping people, and I'm all about giving back. I really am. You know that.
Yes, this is true. I do. So, being part of Friday the 13th, probably one of the biggest iconic horror franchises of all time, does the longevity of it ever surprise you? Well, or the fact that your booth is haunted, does that ever surprise you?
Never. I've had ghosts around me forever. They're usually very just, trying to make trouble.
Which they're doing a good job.
Yeah, they're not out to harm anyone. Don't worry about the ghosts. But no, it's always amazing. I'm humbled at the turnout for a film that almost didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? The first Friday the 13th ran out of money a little bit and super low budget, as everyone knows. And here we are 39 years later, talking about Friday the 13th, the little movie that did, from a horrible little budget, or at the time it was decent, but I mean we didn't have enough money for stunt people or wetsuits when we needed them,
Right.
And it was October when we were shooting that last scene, being pulled into the water. It was chilly, and I look back at it, and all I think is how incredible was that experience. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I actually got to go back to the camp. I went back to the Boy Scout camp.
Really? When was that?
April the 13th this year. they had 3 tours. The Boy Scouts finally realized to embrace Friday the 13th. You know, it's called Camp Nobi Bosco, which when I first went there, we all thought it was an Indian name, but you, being a Jersey boy, probably know that it's North Bergen Boy Scouts.
Right, exactly.
Well, we learned. But the new people that oversee the Boy Scouts said, let's do something with this. And we had tours. We had 3 tours. We had 2 overnights. I got to stay at the camp, which I didn't when we were shooting. I would have rather than the place they had us, but, SAG.
Sure.
Find them a room somewhere, right? But, it was just the best experience, because the last time I left that camp, I honestly did not know if we ever would have a finished movie.
Right.
And then going back there, it was so surreal, 39 years later, watching the movie on the beach at the camp where it all took place.
That's not creepy at all.
It was fabulous. And the audience, it was so much fun. Everybody there were diehard fans, obviously.
Sure.
So to them, it was... I said it was a win-win. The Boy Scouts, we made over $100,000.
Wow,
For the
that's
Boy
great.
Scouts. And they're sharing it with 2 adjacent camps. One is for a camp for inner city kids, and one's for a camp for children with cancer. So talk about full circle.
Right.
Being able to give back and help. It doesn't feel, you can't feel better than that. And you guys know that. That's what Scares That Care. That's what it's all about. You just feel so good when you can help somebody or give back and make life better for other people. And boy, we sure did. We just had the best time there, and they really truly enjoyed it. And everybody said they'd do it again if they could.
That is great news. That it's great to hear that. And you're right. I love being a part of Scares That Care. And, I talk to fellow fans and any of the other people I speak to. And it's unfortunate that horror sometimes doesn't get the respect as a genre that maybe it deserves, even though there are a lot of high quality horror films. But you're right about the community.
Yes.
We are close-knit and we do care, hence the name.
Absolutely. So bravo to you guys. And keep up the good work. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Listen, I'm just a little part of it. Joe Ripple and his staff are just astounding. I'm just happy that I could help in some way. He
has a great staff. They're fabulous, everyone I've met here. And like I said, I know a lot of you from beforehand, which is great. So you're always busy raising money at different conventions for different causes. And here I get to come to your home. This is your place, and meet the rest of the staff and all the people that are helping. And it's a great community to be a part of. And I feel blessed.
Thank you. Now, you mentioned wine. You yourself have a brand.
I have
and
wines, right. Yes, based on Crystal Lake, our lake in Friday the 13th. And I thought I was retired when I moved to Southern Oregon wine country 13 years ago. That number keeps on popping up, 13. But my husband and I moved up there and went to all the different wineries in our area and chose Valley View Winery as our favorite. And we became wine club members there, and you go every few months, you pick up your wines, you meet the winemaker and the family, and it's a small boutique winery, and nothing comes out of there except excellent wines. And
I can vouch for that. I've had it.
Yes, he has. Yes, and I think I sent some to you guys last year for a raffle.
Yes, you did.
Yes, and I hope they went and got you lots of money, but it was an incredible thing because they asked me to join their family one night as my husband and I were sipping our new wines, and I said, okay. I didn't know what that meant, but I was all for it. It couldn't be bad, right?
Sure.
And so I ran their tasting room for a year, and during that year I came up with Crystal Lake wines, thinking it may not work. So we put a little Facebook page on Facebook, duh. Called Crystal Lake Wines by Adrienne King, and it blew out their website. So we knew we were onto something. And that was 8.5 years ago. And
wow.
It's been going strong. First year, I had to convince people to actually open the bottles, drink the wine, save the empty bottles, and then order more wine. Because everybody was just putting them on their shelf as collectibles. Just, no, the wine is so good, try it. So after it was successful, and I started coming up with some clever names like Survivor Syrah and Cabernet Sauvignon, and I paint the artwork as my own on the labels. So it's just the most amazing comeback, considering I was retired. I've been busier than I've ever been between, I'm doing more films, I'm doing the wines, I'm doing conventions, and I'm having so much fun. But yes, the wines are just fabulous, and the fans love them. So it keeps me busy.
Fantastic. Well, busy is good.
Busy's great. I'm one of those people, and most of the people in this room are the same way. Can't sit still. Got to be doing something, and might as well do something you love.
Exactly. So just to wrap it up, I mentioned my daughter is here with me, helping me this weekend.
Olivia?
Yeah, Olivia.
Right.
And what message would you have for the young horror fans out there, such as her, who are kind of now just, finding about all these movies that I loved, growing up?
Advice in terms of being involved in the industry, do you mean?
Whatever you want to say. I mean, she is just now starting to watch them. I was a little horrified. I said, okay. Well, right, pun intended. I started introducing her slowly, and then she called me up and said, hey, Dad, guess what? I just binge watched all the Saw movies with my best friend. I'm like, wait, I'm sorry, what?
I haven't even done that.
So now, the floodgates are open. So now we're stepping into sort of the slashers, and your movie. But just,
well, I'll tell you, the most
go ahead.
important thing. How's this? The most important. Get cozy,
yes,
darling. The most important thing I would suggest is when you watch the Friday the 13th series, if you binge watch them, start with number 1. Don't go backwards. You'll be very confused. A lot of kids your age start with, they love Jason and the whole thing, so they start with something on the above 4 maybe. Start with 1. Then work yourself into 2, and then you really have an appreciation of how this little movie morphed into this billion-dollar franchise.
And to how many sequels and reboots, and and it's still and a video game, and right, and it just keeps chugging.
It keeps on trucking. Yeah. Then he's still there, huh?
Exactly.
Yes.
Adrienne, thank you so much for taking some time with me. I truly appreciate it. And thank you for coming down to Scares That Care. And I wish you success with all your projects, the winery, films, and everything. And I am so glad I got to know you and that we keep in touch. I can honestly say you are one of the most fan-friendly genre people out there. You're very interactive with the fans online, and we truly do appreciate that.
I always say I give what I get, and all I get is love, so it's easy.
Well, I love you. All right. Thank you very much, Adrienne. Thank you for watching, everybody, and we will see you all in the next interview.